Chapter 1 Summary. The story opens with Marcus Webb dragging himself into the Imperial Spaceport's main cafeteria after a brutal 16-hour shift, repairing damaged freighter engines. He's covered in engine grease, his jumpsuit is torn at the knee, and he's too exhausted to care about anything except food and sitting down. The cafeteria is packed with travelers, traders, and station personnel, but Marcus spots a quiet table near the observation windows, blissfully empty except for one occupant whose back is to him. Perfect. He slides into the seat across from her without really looking, sets down his tray of questionable cafeteria food, and immediately starts eating with the single-minded focus of someone who hasn't had a meal in 12 hours. It takes him 3 bites before he actually looks up and registers the woman across from him. She's stunning. Her long, elegantly curved ears are adorned with silver bands and small jewels that catch the light. Her clothing is clearly expensive despite its understated elegance, and her silver eyes are currently staring at him with an expression caught between surprise and something that might be amusement. Marcus's tired brain slowly processes that this is probably someone important, but exhaustion wins over social anxiety. Chapter 2 Summary. Sorry, Marcus mumbles around a mouthful of protein bar. Didn't realize this table was occupied. I can move if you want privacy. The woman doesn't respond immediately, studying him with an intensity that suggests she's trying to solve a puzzle. Finally she speaks, her voice carrying the refined accent of high nobility. You don't recognize me. It's not a question, but Marcus answers anyway. Should I? I mean, no offense, but I've been elbow-deep in a plasma manifold for the last day and a half. I barely recognize my own reflection right now. Her lips curve into the smallest smile. I am Princess Velora, Emperor Thaldrin's daughter. Marcus freezes mid-chew. His brain, already operating on minimal capacity, takes several seconds to catch up with this information. When it does, he swallows carefully and looks around the cafeteria, suddenly noticing the discreet security personnel positioned at strategic points, all of whom are now staring at him with expressions ranging from alarm to barely controlled readiness to intervene. Oh, Marcus says eloquently, that explains the fancy ear jewelry and the guards who look like they want to shoot me. He sets down his fork. I should probably leave before I cause an interstellar incident. Velora raises one hand in a gesture that stops him from standing. Stay, please. The command is soft but absolute. Chapter 3 Summary. Marcus sits back down slowly, aware that every eye in the cafeteria is now watching their table. Velora leans forward slightly, her expression curious rather than offended. You are human, a mechanic, judging by your attire and the hydraulic fluid on your hands. Guilty. Marcus Webb, engine specialist assigned to Bay 7. I mostly work on freighters and the occasional military transport when they need extra hands. He gestures vaguely at his filthy jumpsuit. Sorry about the presentation. If I'd known I was going to meet royalty, I'd have at least wiped the grease off my face. You speak to me as if I were anyone else, Velora observes, and there's something almost wondering in her tone. Most people either grovel or scheme when they address me. You do neither. Marcus shrugs, too tired for pretense. You're a person who happens to be a princess. I'm a person who happens to fix engines. Seems like we're both just trying to eat lunch. He pauses, though I'm guessing your lunch is usually fancier than cafeteria mystery meat. The comment startles a laugh out of her, an actual laugh that seems to surprise her as much as the watching guards. One of the security personnel starts to move forward, clearly concerned about the impropriety, but Velora stops him with a slight shake of her head. Chapter 4 Summary. They talk impossibly, inexplicably, like two normal people sharing a table. Velora asks about his work, genuinely interested in the technical challenges of maintaining faster-than-light engines. Marcus, relaxing slightly as it becomes clear he's not about to be arrested, describes the elegant complexity of plasma flow systems and the satisfaction of diagnosing problems that stump other mechanics. He asks her why she's in a public cafeteria instead of some private royal dining area, and she admits, quietly, that sometimes the isolation of being constantly protected and served becomes suffocating. "Everyone treats me like a symbol," she says softly. "A political piece to be moved strategically, a prize to be won, a danger to be guarded against. No one simply sees me as Velora." Marcus considers this while finishing his awful cafeteria coffee. That sounds lonely. It is. She meets his eyes directly. "You are the first person in years to sit across from me without an agenda, without calculation, without fear. To be fair, I was mostly operating on muscle memory and desperate hunger. If I'd been more awake, I probably would have panicked and run." Velora smiles, a genuine expression that transforms her face from formally beautiful to warmly human, despite not being human at all. "But you didn't, you stayed, you talked, you treated me as an equal." She stands gracefully, and Marcus quickly scrambles to his feet, suddenly remembering at least that much protocol. Marcus Webb, by ancient custom, when a member of the imperial family shares a meal with a commoner by choice and continues conversation beyond initial greeting, that commoner is granted the right of continued audience. "You may request my presence again should you wish it." Marcus's exhausted brain struggles with this information. "So, we can have lunch again. If you desire it, yes." Velora's eyes hold his, and there's warmth there that goes beyond formal courtesy. "I find I would like to speak with someone who sees me rather than my crown. Someone who criticizes cafeteria food in my presence without fear." "I mean, the food really is terrible," Marcus says before he can stop himself, then winces. "Sorry, Your Highness. Apparently exhaustion kills my filter." She laughs again, that same surprised, genuine sound. "Good, keep it dead. I have enough filtered conversations in my life." As she leaves, flanked by her now confused security detail, she glances back once. "Bay 7, you said. I may visit if you would permit it. I've never seen a plasma manifold." Marcus stands alone at the table, cafeteria tray still half full, aware that half the room is staring at him in shock. A fellow mechanic from his shift approaches, eyes wide. "Do you have any idea what just happened?" Marcus drops back into his chair, suddenly feeling the weight of the last hour. "I think I accidentally made friends with a princess by being too tired to care about protocol. The Emperor's daughter just granted you continued audience rights. That's unprecedented for someone of your station. There are nobles who have spent decades trying to earn that privilege." Marcus looks down at his grease-stained hands, then at the table where a princess sat and laughed because someone finally treated her like a person instead of a title. "I just wanted a quiet place to eat lunch," he says weakly. Over the following weeks, Velora does visit Bay 7, much to the shock of station personnel and the near-heart attacks of her security team. She watches Marcus work, asks questions about engineering principles, and talks about court politics with dry humor that suggests she's far more aware of the absurdities than anyone suspects. Marcus treats her exactly the same as he did in the cafeteria, with simple courtesy, honest conversation, and absolutely no deference beyond basic respect. It drives the nobility crazy and makes Velora smile more than she has in years. When Marcus is eventually summoned before the Emperor himself, an encounter that should terrify him, he simply explains that he sat at a table, talked to someone interesting, and apparently that was enough to change both their lives. Emperor Thaldrin, after listening to his daughter describe how a human mechanic made her feel seen for the first time in years, simply nods. "Sometimes the greatest service to the Empire is reminding my daughter that she is also simply Velora. Continue your work, Mechanic Webb, and continue your friendship with my daughter. You have proven yourself worthy through the rarest quality, genuine sincerity." As Marcus returns to Bay 7, Velora waiting there with actual interest in the engine diagnostics he's running, he understands that sometimes choosing the wrong table is exactly right, and sometimes the best connections form when you're too tired to pretend to be anything other than yourself. The poor mechanic chose the wrong table and accidentally sat with the emperor's beautiful daughter, HFY. A exhausted human mechanic accidentally befriends an alien princess by treating her like a person instead of royalty, changing both their lives through simple sincerity. This English sci-fi story explores how genuine connection transcends social hierarchy. An alien woman's story about being seen beyond titles and finding friendship in unexpected places. Perfect as an audiobook for HFY fans who love galactic stories celebrating human authenticity and the power of treating everyone with basic respect. This short sci-fi story proves that sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply being yourself. A sci-fi story about how exhaustion, honesty, and a terrible cafeteria can accidentally reshape imperial politics and create bonds that defy tradition.